This edge of your circle is literally going to be your cheekbone right here, so keep it. But I kind of want you to add a curve down below just a little bit for your tusk. See that? Just a curve right here in this area. This is for your tusk. And then you're going to kind of make a softened upside down 90-degree angle here for your tusk. We're drawing the skin that wraps around the tusk, or the muscle that holds the tusk in. I want my tusks to be a little more curved. If you want them pointing down more, that's fine. Totally up to you. But I want you to draw your tusk in. You might have to adjust your face just a little bit to have that wrapping up and around the chin. So there's your tusk. Alright, so from your tusk extension, it is about one baby head. See how I have my from here to here? Should be one baby head long. Gonna just I can't decide where I want my trunk. Too many choices. Trunk in there. Get rid of this blasted curved line. It's going to drive you nuts. Just get rid of it. Right where that curved line goes up and starts to go around, that is kind of like where your eyeball is going to be. That makes sense. See, I promised it would come together. Don't forget to add your foot. I gotta thicken up my trunk. There's something wrong with my trunk. My trunk is not thick enough. There you go. So make adjustments while you can. Take a peek at that picture, make adjustments. But literally, I kind of have like a really obtuse angle here for where my trunk dips in and into the face. And then right there in that area, I'm literally going to add a rounded triangle for your eye socket. They have really big eyeball sockets. So I'm doing that right here. And I'm gonna I'm going to widen his ear or her ear or whatever. I'm going to widen it. I don't like how small it looks, so I'm going to widen it. So I extended my curve out. And that, my friend, goes right here. There we go. And then this goes here. I'm just widening my ear. I don't like how small my ear is. So make adjustments while you can. And then I'll teach you how to shade. Oh, don't forget your bump on the top here. Remember the lumpy head? It's going to be a breeze from here. I literally have the shading part right here for you. So you might already be working on it right now. So that light gray is literally one layer shadow. Literally. Perfect. You're going to be loosey-goosey with it. Keep your hand up here so keep it nice and light. Yep, that light gray is one layer. And I'm going to take a picture of this for you so you have an easy guide. It's really quick, really easy. Now, your darker gray, like right here, is literally 2 layers. And you can move your hand from back here. You can move it to the middle of your pencil to help you with your pressure. And the dark gray area is going to be like the folds in your trunk, the folds in your face, the darker areas in the folds of your ears. So anywhere where you might have that darker area where that fold starts. Right here in the chest. That's going to be layer number 2. Now anywhere where there's like really dark, almost black, is going to be layer number 3. So your eyes are literally going to have 3 layers. And for layer number 3, just hold it like a normal pencil. When dealing with pencil or even ink for that matter, and you're shading, doing a side diagonal hatch like what we are doing right now, that's a diagonal line stroke in one direction. Anytime you're shading whatsoever, you are going to want to make sure that you have a filler shade down. You can tell that I already have one singular shade down on all of my elephants because my elephants are not a pure white, they are a gray, so they need some sort of filler shade in them. Now the undersides or wherever an elephant has a fold, or maybe the ears cast a shadow and the trunk casts a shadow on the chest, you're going to add an additional layer for that area. Because you are having shadow be cast upon the body, that gray is going to be a little bit darker than the skin of the elephant itself. That's because you're having light being blocked by some sort of appendage of some sort or an outside source. After you're done adding and taking into consideration where these kind of overcast areas may be, then you can start considering actually adding an additional layer of ink or pen to create those crisp outlines or those gradual darks to mediums to lights. We literally are building our shadow here. Layer 1 is the lightest, layer 2 is the medium shade, and layer 3 is like that crisp shadow that's turning into darkness. Now, when dealing with this elephant, you need to remember that there aren't a lot of crisp, dark shadows. The most that you're going to get here for your crisp, dark shadows are where the toes or the feet touch the ground and where two muscles either have a double fold or are coming together twice as much than other areas in the body, like the ear, for instance, where the top of the ear fold meets the crinkle of the ear up here near the edge of the elephant's head. Now, maybe the other areas that you might see that are crisp, dark are the shadows that wrap around the tusk because the skin is really close and tight and rolls up near the base of the tusk's edge. But other than that, practically most of your darker values are going to be 2 layers of shadow, not 3, unless you're doing the very fine tip edge of the animal's body, because that will create a gradual dark to medium to light that you are going to want to be looking for. Now, today we're only going to be focusing on the elephants themselves. You yourself get to choose what type of background you'd like and then practice what you've learned today outside of class and apply your new knowledge so it sticks.